we had a moment here. Ella tipped over a bowl, like a plant pot, and it went all over the ground. There's glass beneath my feet. Bird is safe, but nonetheless. Plus I have to water all these guys. You probably can't see it, but any gardeners out there, how much do your houseplants struggle when spring hits and you have to be outside in the yard? Mine, not good. I had to bring up the comments. Hopefully not blare your guys' ears out. How's everyone's spring going? Hopefully good. It's a little high. Good morning, K-Dub. Waikiki to sanity. Can't wait to harvest my first tomato bucket. All things are growing. Yes, all things are growing. That's so true. I got a hello from Saskatoon. Woo! House plants on the ground. Hello from Saskatoon. How are you enjoying the I want to rain but I don't want to rain weather? It's like cloudy. It's been cloudy for the last 2 days. It's been acting like it's going to rain, but then it doesn't. It's not nice. Francis! Hi! Passionate Fruit. Morning. We got Miss Lovely Olivia from Stratford. CT, is that Connecticut? Starting spring slow this year, new acreage, so many projects to do from prairie prepping. Yes, oh my God. That's basically been my, Ella's here. Yeah, do you want to tell them how you tipped the pot over? Do you want to explain how you tipped the pot over? And you're just gonna ignore the fact that you did that. I installed several new, 3 total so far, grow beds, like raised beds, and well, actually no, one's in ground, one's a self-watering one, and then another is like the galvanized steel bed, and just like the moving of the dirt and that sort of thing is exhausting, and it's weeks and weeks and weeks of work, so it can get kind of wild. Humid and yuck, yeah. Our area, who said they're from Saskatoon? Someone said they're from Saskatoon. I can't find the comment back now, but it's cold. Our whole spring has been cold weather, not a lot of sun, some sun, and rain, lots of rain. And it's not a bad thing because our soil is very dry still, even despite all the rain we have gotten, which is shocking. But our plants are not doing too hot. So basically any sort of like tomato, pepper, anything of that nature is super duper small still. In my opinion, they seem a little small to me compared to where they should be at. I'm starting to get some rust issues on my tomatoes, which I don't normally get, but I think that's from the humidity. And then all my kale, cabbage, anything like that is just like off like wildflower. My kale is already like 2 feet tall, which is crazy because it's not normally how it is here. It usually gets really hot really fast where I am, and then it gets really cold really fast. So there's really no like in between it all. Anyway, so kale, that sort of stuff's doing really good. If I had lettuce that my dang sparrows would not eat, or arugula, or beets, or peas, they're literally eating everything. It's very shocking. I would assume those would be very large right now at this time, but they're just not. My cucumbers, I only have like 2 leaves. Like what? That's crazy to me, but Nicholas Jerome says first cucumber and bush beans are about to be ready to harvest here in southern Ontario. That's crazy. Ella's looking at your guys' comments. Are you looking at the comments? Yeah, that's crazy. Ours, there's no flowers yet, actually, where I am. So, Miss Lovey Olivia said she's repotting a 5'4" snake plant today. What a project. That would be a project. Oh my God. I'd be so nervous the whole time. I'd be like, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it. That's pretty cool. I found a new plot to plant all my extra starts in. Super excited. 872 cell trays might have been too many starts for my tiny garden. Passionate Fruit says. That's pretty good. That's me, literally, every year. It's like, well, I have too many plants. Better make a new garden. That's too good. Nicholas Jerome bringing houseplants to the shaded patio to leave them to fend for themselves. Yeah, I'm going to do that here in a little bit too. I'm waiting for my deck. I stain the deck, and so I'm just going to wait for that to dry a little bit longer, and then I'm going to move my houseplants. Well, some. I don't move all of them. I do move some outside. They do a little bit better, I find. But disease and pests are definitely an issue, so don't just willy-nilly go put your plants outside and expect no bad, because there is some bad with it. Anyone who doesn't know. But I do find better growth, and it's just a little easier to manage, because when you have plants outdoors and plants indoors, the ones indoors tend to not get watered when they're supposed to. So I usually have some deaths after the summer season is done. And to limit those deaths or lessen the death, it's best if I actually just put them outside, because then I water them when I water my outdoor plants, right? So, Edward, little rain, had to cover up seeds just planted in buckets. Check them today. Felt warm, so the potential is real. Nice. Caleb said, I had to take off the straw mulch off the pepper bed so it would dry out a bit. Honestly, that's what I think is going on with my tomato plants. I have like a thick wood mulch on there right now to keep down weeds, in particular chickweed, which I know is edible, but when I do my videos, if I have chickweed just like hanging out in the beds, the comment section is just lit. It doesn't harm anything. It's edible. It's like a low-lying weed. It's not really competing with tomatoes for nutrients because the roots don't go deep enough. But just for appearances, I wanted to like limit it or take it out a little bit. And I can't. It just is impossible. It's growing through 3 inches of mulch. It's ridiculous. And I'm not going to spray it because it's harmless, but still, there's a lot of mulch on there, and I think that's maybe where my rust issue is coming from, is from that mulch on top. So we'll see. Prairie Prepping said, all the drought last year is still being made up for. We had so much rage south of Calgary, but the moisture levels are only just recovery. It's so true. The soil is dry, so dry. I posted a video, which you guys actually will probably see here in a little bit, but I posted a reel over on Instagram and I was showing the soil out at the farm, and it was cracking, like it's a crack. It had fissures in it. So someone's like, your soil's so unhealthy, it's so dead. And that's not a sign of lack of nutrients. It's not a sign of poor soil structure. What it is a sign of is the fact that it's really, really dry. And the soil just doesn't have moisture in it. One way to prevent that cracking, or what we think is ugly cracking, is to actually mulch the surface. And it can help with that. But for the most part, yeah, it's dry out in the prairies. Western Canada is very dry, unfortunately. Good morning, south of Ottawa, from Janet. Rebecca, my cucumbers are better now than last year. Mine aren't ready to harvest, but they're looking good. That's awesome. Expansion never stops, Francis says. How true is that? Joanna said, out in the garden today to try and get all my volunteers moved, replanted, and rest of the starts planted. Yeah, I gotta start some stuff. I gotta do for that liquid dirt experiment. I think I decided on doing leafy greens, actually herbs, in particular herbs. And the reason for that is because I was thinking about it, and it's really difficult for me to get a houseplant that I know the root biomass and the upper biomass are like in equal proportions to each other, meaning at the same rate. So for example, if I got 2 houseplants and I started a liquid dirt experiment and I watered one houseplant with liquid dirt and the other one with just regular water and another with fertilizer, whatever the case is, there's no way for me to know with certainty that the root biomass below ground doing all the nutrient capture are equal in size. And the reason for why I can't determine that is because you'd have to harm the houseplant to even figure that out, or I would need an after the fact way, like some sort of kiln, like plant kiln, to actually dehydrate and crush and weigh. I don't have that at my disposal. So I'm gonna do herbs from seed. I think that's going to be the really happy medium here. And I also think if I do herbs from seed, the big bonus is going to be that the upper biomass, the bottom biomass, everything, there's going to be so many similarities. So I feel like the experiment is going to go a lot better in that regard. And I know that's not what people want to see, but a plant is a plant. And so, and a nutrient is a nutrient. It'll show the results regardless of which route I do take, but I just want to make it as fair as possible. Nicholas, it's pretty dry here, about 40 to 50 millimeters per month, April to June, versus our normal 70. So almost half of what you normally get. That's crazy. Kohlrabi and zucchini are getting ready to harvest too. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, we are not. Ella, your tubes are coming off on me. Yeah. Anyone who has a bird knows that they get these. Their feathers come out on like a tube. Yeah, and then the tube disintegrates and falls apart. And it looks like dandruff. But it's not dandruff. It actually smells kind of good, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Yeah, well. Any hoosers. One pollination. Yay, I caught the live. That's awesome. Vicky Scott. Hey, talking to you from Alberta. Just wondering if it's too late to plant a second batch of onion bulbs. The sets you could do, they're pretty frost tolerant as well. So like they're gonna, even if it frosts in the fall because it's too late, you'll be fine. You'll just do it. You'll be fine. I'm gonna do some lettuce, herbs, and some other odds and ends here still. But if you any seeds right now, guys, that you're thinking of starting, and you can get something 40 or 50 days to harvest or less, you can still plant them here in Canada. They'll do fine. Be a little late, but that's not an issue. With containers, instead of putting holes in the bottom, why not put it inside 4 inches to make a reservoir? What should I watch for with this method? Tired and Retired is asking for container gardens. Could you just do like a double bucket system? The bottom bucket would hold water and the top bucket would have holes. Yeah, you can do it. Things to watch out for with that is how you're fertilizing. I would stay away from a granular fertilizer or any sort of like organic manures or compost because it can get really anaerobic and smelly. And I would stick with a liquid organic or liquid synthetic in that bottom bucket when you do water. And you would just water according to how you regularly would. One way to really make sure that you're doing it correctly would actually be to use hydroponic fertilizers. There's really easy systems out there, like the root farm systems, very inexpensive and easy to use. I would go with that route. And then really, really coarse pumice or perlite. The bigger the pumice or the perlite, the better, and the more of it, the better. Again, the key here is to make sure we get enough oxygen in the system, that no portions of the soil goes anaerobic, and we're able to provide the oxygen that microbes need and the plant roots need and all that sort of stuff. So large size pumice or perlite is the key, and you can get coarse perlite. Pretty much any plant shop will sell it in bulk. Amazon sells it in bulk, and it's pretty large. It's like the size of my pinky type thing. So it's like, you know, my pinky nail. It's quite large pumice. So I would give that a shot, tired and retired. Scott Miller, my plants are having problems. Could the many tiny stinging sweet bees that have tiny droplets on the leaves? Yeah, so one thing with like any sort of bug, harmless, harmful, you name it, is the fecal matter or the waste that they put onto the leaves, and that can damage your plants and their ability to photosynthesize and kind of get sticky and gross. So one that I have noticed this with is maple bugs. Completely harmless to all plants. They don't do anything. They don't bother anyone. But there's so many of them sometimes, and they tend to go to the washroom so much on your plants that it actually, I do find, harms them. And I've had them actually kill off some plants because of that. So something to keep in mind there. The roadkill crew, I'm down in NJ. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers are all off to a slow start. Just starting to get better. Kale, lettuce, and cabbage are also thriving this year. Yeah, so it's the same thing as me then. Because my kale, lettuce, cabbage, any cold climate stuff, doing really, really well. Tomatoes, peppers, that sort of thing, not doing too hot. So that's interesting. Thanks for confirming. Edward says my cabbage leaves look like Dumbo ears. Yeah, they do kind of. I actually, I'll have to show you guys once a little farther on. I'll do a video on it. But I'm doing cabbage. It's like the Copenhagen cabbage. And I have most of it planted in like normal spots. But I have this one planted in this area of my yard that I've always complained about. I've complained about it to my family for years now, saying it's too shady, you can't grow anything, it's like a dead zone, it's like the twilight zone in my backyard. And no one's believed me. They're like, it's not true, there's no way. So I planted cabbage, 4 heads of cabbage inside of this really beautiful enclosed cold frame type thing with like a screen netting on top and you name it. Got them out nice and early. They are leggy. I have leggy cabbage right now. Now I'm gonna let them grow because I want to see what happens. But cabbage is one of those plants where, typically speaking, if you plant them in like partial shade, they generally do okay. They may not get as big, but they shouldn't be getting leggy. So I'm talking that area of the yard gets an hour of sun a day. Like, it's crazy. It is nuts how dark that area is. So bush beans that are just about ready to be transplanted, mid-May direct sown. Yeah, my bush beans at the farm aren't doing very good. They're kind of, you'll see. I have footage of it. I'm gonna do a video. I just have to edit and put it together, but yeah, they're not. On Instagram, I posted a reel and I was like, let's try to figure out what's wrong with my plants. And I kind of went through all of them. I'm pretty sure my bush beans were hit with hail, really heavy rain that like waterlogged the roots to high heaven. And hail and just really poor germination. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's very bizarre. Not happy with it, but what can you do about it? So, what else do I got here? K-Dub, I'm newly planted strawberries that are just bought as big root balls, then divided. Yeah, I would pick the flowers on that K-Dub on your strawberries because I just always worry about root development in any sort of perennial, especially like shallow rooting perennials like strawberries. And one way to help with that is to remove the berries. Now, if you didn't want to remove the berries and you wanted to leave them, you can do it that way. But I would do like a really strong phosphorus potassium fertilizer just to really focus on root growth and try to get as much as that over and above foliage growth for this first year. Because what's going to make your plant survive is going to be those roots through the winter, right? So, Miss Ladybug, nice to see you live. Just bought an acreage with a very big, well-composted, nutrient-rich garden full of giant thistle. And dandelions as high as my chest. Oh my, organic solutions. That's so funny. I love that. Perfect garden, but a ton of weeds. Yeah, so what I would do with those, because they do have the big tap roots and their rhizome spreading and blah, 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 I would solarize it. So I would get black sheet plastic or clear sheet plastic, lay it over the area, put rocks on it. You want to extend it out probably 5 feet from where your problem area is, because those roots are insidious and they will go all over. And I would solarize it for probably an entire summer. Depending on where you are, maybe it's just over the winter because you have, light and heat and all that sort of stuff. That's what I would do. I would solarize it for sure. That's going to be your only solution, actually. You till it, it's going to get worse. You pull it, it's going to get worse. There's really no spray in that case to take care of that. So solarization really is your only bet there. Nicholas says, surprised that I still haven't had any cabbage worms yet, even though my cabbage and kohlrabi are almost ready to harvest. Cucumber beetles are showing up later than last year. Only saw 1 or 2 so far. Yeah, so that's because it's so cold. So I talked about this in a past video, GDD and GDU and days to harvest, like how the growing degree units accumulated every day will affect the days to harvest. Well, the growing degree day units accumulated every day actually also affect when bugs and disease appears. So we can actually predict when things like cucumber beetle or whatever is going to show up based on the GDUs in the area. So quick Google for the species of cucumber bug or beetle you have in your area, or worm, whatever the case is, and then the number of growing degree units needed for that to show up, and then look up the growing degree units for your area. And it'll give you a good idea how close you are to those appearing. So, and the colder it is, the longer it takes. Francis said, I had my first strawberry harvest from my own garden yesterday. It was a special little treat, honestly. I don't know what it is, but strawberries grown in the garden, flavor-wise, it's like it's a totally different plant. It's a different plant. I don't care what anyone says. I don't know what's going on with the stuff you buy from the store, but that's not the same flavor. Nicole's Garden, hi from Nova Scotia. Hello. Is there any difference in the chemical byproduct in water-soluble, organic, or synthetic of the, maybe more salt in one than the other? Oh, God. That's a loaded question, passion fruit. I am I am open to the concept of hybrid growing. That's actually what I use. So hybrid growing, in my opinion, would be a combination of organic and non-organic conventional ways of gardening or farming or whatever the case is. Because I do think that the solution is like somewhere in between the two. So when I say that, I'm not necessarily into pesticides in any form, insecticide, herbicide, fungicide, anything like that. Not really into that. There's many different methods to control those things organically. I'm into the additions of compost and manures because I think that those are incredibly valuable to the actual soil structure and the carbon inputs and just microbial activity in the soil, you name it. But when it comes to fertilizer, synthetic is just better. It's just better. It works better, much quicker for your plants to react, and nitrate is nitrate. It's a nitrogen with some oxygen thrown on the back end of it. Phosphate is phosphate. It's a phosphate molecule with some oxygen tossed onto the end of it. And where that phosphate or the phosphorus and the oxygens came from doesn't affect the plant and how it takes it up. So what I guess I'm saying is that regardless of the type of fertilizer you're using, it still has to be mineralized and made into the available compounds that the plants need to eat. And that goes for calcium, molybdenum, zinc, boron, iron, you name it, anything the plant takes up, it has to be a calcium molecule. And how are you going to get a calcium molecule? Well, regardless of how you put it in the soil, it's going to be degraded. Now, one thing I will say is synthetics do have more salt. So you never want to like over fertilize with synthetics. And there is research to suggest that it takes around 72 hours, 48 to 72 hours for your microbes to actually bounce back from a synthetic fertilizer application. So if you're watering and fertilizing every 3 days, or you're using like a granular placed slow release, you're damaging your soil microbes. So there's a balance there. For sure, there's a balance there. But yeah, one has more salt than the other would be one way to look at it. But I mean, for example, potassium, potash, as some people like to call it, that comes from potash rock, which is basically seams of ancient lake salt stuck in the ground. And so that's salty. Doesn't matter how you cut it, organic or synthetic, it comes from the same place. They're both the exact same form when you get it from the store. So both of those are salty, and both of those will have salt content in them. So yeah, that's a really, really, really tough question for me to answer because I'm not dogmatic about anything. I'm just more of the type of person that's like, plant the garden. I don't care where you put it. You can put it in your eaves trough, you can put it on your roof, you can put it in the ground, you can put it in a container, put it in a pile of compost. I don't care where you put it. I can give you guidance on like where's the better place to put it, but for the most part, I just want people to grow plants. And so I'm not dogmatic about what fertilizer you use. You can use either one. I use both. And it doesn't faze me at all. So actually I used bone meal and blood meal this year with my tomato plants in my organic plot that I do strictly organic just because I want to experiment between the two. And my dogs literally were like rolling in it. It's the grossest thing ever. They're like fully obsessed with this tomato patch. So blood meal and bone meal are off the potential fertilizer list because my dogs are like literally, like I said, completely obsessed with the area. So pretty funny. Scott Miller, tired and retired. Oh, he's answering tired and retired. We used to garden carefully by hand for 100 years on the homestead. Yeah. We used to garden that has been tended carefully by hands for 100 years on the homestead. That's pretty cool. Neem oil and compost tea is making a huge difference this year for pest control. That's very cool. Marcia, good morning. What else do we have here? My gosh, you guys are talkative. Holy moly. Yeah, they're talking. Passion fruit. Okay, thank you. I was considering the same thing. My cabbages in Colorado are in part shade. Like, yeah. Yeah, I'll send Nicholas, if I showed you photos of what my cabbage looks like, you would laugh. It's hilarious, actually, to be totally honest with you. The Roadkill crew is trying their first real efforts at doing roasted potatoes in containers this year. I'm doing potatoes in like several different methods. I'm actually super excited to do a video on this. So I'm doing a roost out method in like an awkward area where the soil's like pretty compacted, right next to a building, between a raised bed. So I'm doing like a roost out in there. And then I'm doing a roost out in a Rubbermaid container, which I'm actually excited to see the results from. It's growing, so that's cool. And then I'm doing some in like an actual container and then in the ground too. But yeah, I'm excited to see how those turn out. It'll be interesting. Nate at Canadian Prepper, actually, he had, like, when we were picking out buckets and containers for the videos that we were working on, he had these big 7-gallon. They're huge. They're like super tall. I don't even know where he got them from. You'd have to ask him. But yeah, so I was like, we should do potatoes in those because those are perfect. And now he's so proud of his potatoes because they're huge. And he's like, you know how many potatoes we're gonna get? Yeah, a lot. A lot. It's gonna turn out really nice. Any advice on what to do with them before they start blossoming? Keep them watered, but don't fertilize too much. Potatoes are one of those plants that grow in like pretty bunk soil. So don't fertilize too much. I find when you fertilize, the potatoes themselves don't store as well and they're more susceptible to like rot and stuff. So that would be like the one thing. Don't fertilize too much. Sudbury Cheryl, hello from Sudbury. Can you use companion plants to fight pests? You can. Yeah, you can. For example, anything in the soil issues do not like alien family plants. So garlic, onions, shallots, leeks. So interplanting those in the garden will prevent against like cutworms, things like that, they say. And then dill, marigolds, all also deter pests. So those are all really good options there. And then companion planting from a fertilizer standpoint would be like interplanting with legumes of some sort. So liquid fish emulsion. Honestly, I don't know much about store-bought fertilizer these days, but that's just because I'm cheating and have a compost system down pretty well. Yeah, that's the key, right? Is that first time to a live chat? Sanchez found me over on Odyssey. How often do you live stream? I threw some seeds in a pot, no clue what I'm doing, but they're growing. That's awesome. I live stream like probably once a month on a weekend, usually a Saturday. And I don't Odyssey and Rumble, so like I'm on Odyssey and Rumble too, and they don't broadcast lives, so it's just through YouTube, and then I guess you would technically probably get the playback once it's downloaded and stuff. So yeah, unfortunately. But I'm glad you found me over there. I don't even know how Odyssey works, to be honest. I like try to find out how to answer comments, and same with Rumble, and I'm like, this is not user friendly. But I also haven't spent a lot of time trying to figure it out either. probably part of the issue. Second channel's doing good though. Anyone who's headed over there, a ton of you actually headed over there, which is crazy. What else? You guys are having like your own conversations in the comments, and I love it. It's so awesome. So awesome. Oh, yeah. Ella, Ella, Ella. Would aspirin spray hurt praying mantis? Oh, I would think. I actually don't know. I don't know. Don't do it. Don't do it. Talk to an entomologist. I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. Nate is hilarious. I followed his work since 2013, and he's directed me to your page. Aw, that's so cute. K-Dub is a member. They're a dirt farmer. Ha, that's awesome. Yeah, that join feature. So on that, K-Dub's gonna be like, oh my God, there's a bunch of videos on here. Go to the community section, K-Dub. And then go to like the videos that don't have cover photos. And those are all like pre-releases for the members only. And yeah, there's like, I think there's 4 right now up there. 3 of which are interviews with professionals in the peat moss industry. So there's one with a natural resource manager for Premier Peat, which is ProMix, and he's basically in charge of making sure that the peat that ProMix uses is ethically sourced, where it comes from, that they're composting, blah, blah, blah. And then one is with the CSPMA girl president, and she basically walks through like what it takes to even get the designation that you need on your bag to know you're selecting ethical peat, and kind of rules and regulations behind it, that sort of thing. And then the other one interview is with Stephanie, and she's a master's in plant biology, and she specifically has worked with Ducks Unlimited and now the CSPMA to work on revitalization of peatlands, and she walks through basically how Canadian peatlands are restored, how they're harvested from, and why we're considered like the world leaders in peat restoration, because they can basically turn around a bog in 5 years, which is unprecedented after harvesting from it for like 30 or 40 years, which is crazy. And anyways, she says that there's people from all over the world apparently that come to Canada to figure out our methods, and Canadian peatland management is actually starting to work on different ways to give like our peat, our sphagnum moss, our species that are native to like Europe and stuff, how to get them over there and help them restore their boglands, because they harvested from them incorrectly, basically is what it comes down to. So, and they did apparently quite a bit of damage. Sorry, Ella was on the microphone there. What are you doing? Look at her. You're a mess right now, girl. You're a mess. Okay, get up, get up, get up. Are you gonna actually bite me on a YouTube live? You're gonna bite me? People are not going to appreciate you. They're going to say, you are not a nice bird. We all thought you were a nice bird, and now you're biting your mom. Ella's been, how old are you? You're 15, I think. Ella's 15 years old. Yes, 15, and I've had you since I was 15. Well, yeah, yes. It's been a long time. We've had our fights. She's very goofy. Very goofy. Deer are taking over northern Saskatchewan. I think I have A dog. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And wasting disease is taking over the deer, so what a mess. Can you use styrofoam in lieu of perlite and vermiculite in a mix? You could. I don't see why you couldn't. The only thing would be what's leaching in the soil. Like, is that a plastic? I'm not sure. And then if it is a plastic, what type of plastic is it? Is it a food safe plastic or is it not? And if it's not, I wouldn't use it. And then too much of it, obviously, it'll float to the top if you water heavy. Those are all things to think about, but you could definitely give it a shot. I mean, for a houseplant or something, I don't see any reason why you couldn't. And then see if you like it, right? Because I've used pool noodles in houseplant stuff before, and I can guarantee those probably aren't food safe, but they are basically styrofoam, so, and it works. It works. That coffee mug is a pale Ashley. Isn't it huge? This is what happens when you have a full-time job, a YouTube channel that's turning into a full-time job, and coffee is life. Literally, you have no idea. I have this one big jug of iced coffee that I drink and I bring to work and stuff. And I always think to myself, that can't be good for me. Right? Does coffee cause or does it fight cancer? We need to Google this because Google Doctor needs to hit me up with the answers on that one. Because if it's, too much. Way too much. Spring was a bit warmer than average. But last year was even warmer. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the heat last year. That was crazy, Nicholas. We had it too here in Saskatchewan, and our fruits, our tomatoes, cucumbers, you name it, just weren't good. They just were not good. They were not happy with that. Thanks so much for sharing your knowledge. Do you have a website/blog? Do you have any books, Sanchez? I have a website, so it's www.gardeningincanada.net. I'm horrible at website, Sanchez, to the point that the search bar function works, but my pagination doesn't. And if you try to Google search a majority of the articles that I've written, they don't show up. So, anyone know anything about websites? I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know what's happening or why it's happening. It's saying something like canonical blah, 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 when you go into Google Search Console. But the website works and you can search through it and people use it all the time as a resource. Scott Miller, who's actually on this right now, said he was using it the other day and he really liked it, but it's literally got everything. If something's missing, let me know. I'm currently working on 2 articles. One article is going to be on microbes, and I can tell you how many I took actually. Now I'm going to lose my voice. I'm just going to download my Google Sheets and I'll let you know how many it is. But I took all the leading products in on the internet for microbes. So I did the Great White, I did Mycos, I did Dimaco, I did microbes. I literally did all of them. And I went through either their website or their packaging, and I listed out every single species of microbe that they have and how many colony forming units per gram that they have for every single one of them. And I did the entire list. And then I go through and I compare who has the most species. If you wanted to purchase one of every single one, if you wanted to make sure you had every single possible version of commercially available microbe in your houseplants or your garden, which products would you have to buy? And it's a combination of 3. I can't remember which 3 it is now, but yeah, so I'm just finishing that one up. I want to do a bit of more data crunching there / what the purpose of each microbe is, trichoderma, blah, 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 blah. So I want to break that down just like slightly, and then I'll post that one. And that one, I mean, it's not going to do anything because I can't show up in search. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's gonna be good. You guys will like it. How many is it though? Microbes. Yes, I go through 26 different versions. Commercially available products. So Extreme, Recharge, Root Rescue, Wallace, Micro Root, Microbes, Lush Roots, Eco Thrived. Yeah, literally all of them. All of them. So that'll be good. That'll be good. Any recommendations on lime quarters weed? We are organic, Sandy Loam. William. Eat them. Seriously though. Lamb's quarters is edible. Tastes like spinach, actually. But honestly, when it comes to organic pest control, it's either hand weeding before everything flowers, or it's solarization for the most part. In that case, and in some cases, depending on what it is, tillage may be the answer. And I'm not saying that because I think that is actually like an organic farmer's method of dealing with specific types of weeds is tillage. But I would honestly just hand weed them, eat them, and make sure you get them out before they set seed. Because the setting the seed is what's continuing the cycle. So if you are weeding before they flower and set seed, you probably have 3-4 years of that battle, and then the battle would be done with that if you don't till. If you till, you're going to dig up all the seeds that are below that would have been dropped in past years, and then you get to restart the whole cycle again. So that's something to keep in mind there. Hello everyone, I'm in SoCal. Anyone know of any edible plants that do not require a lot of water? Sanchez, are you saying water? You put what? I think you meant water though. I'm pretty sure. Ella's adorable. Did she just say nice bird? She says nice bird. She says hello. She says Ashley, but she sings it. She says Ashley when I'm not paying attention to her. She says hi. She imitates the microwave. She imitates the oven. She imitates the fire alarm. You name it, she does it. She growls sometimes too now, which is like super cute. But she'll literally sit there and roar. It's pretty adorable. Pretty darn adorable. Hydron, vermiculite, perlite. Just curious if everyone has tried it. Would be handy. Oh, I would do Hydroton. Thresh. I would do Hydron, like Leca on the bottom. Perlite's gonna, like, I'm assuming you want it to last long term. So vermiculite will compact. Perlite will disintegrate. But yeah, that's what I would do there. For Google to link to each page, there needs to be a sitemap file. Okay, so this Code Design Inc., you know this stuff. So I submitted my sitemap page, and it was accepted, and it went through, but like it's not working. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe email me. I'll send you screenshots of what I'm seeing and how I have no idea how to fix it. I just have no idea how to fix it. It's very... Hi, Ashley. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm going to probably leave here pretty quick because we've been on here for a while. And then I got to repot some plants, film some videos, and hopefully go fishing around 1. We'll see. We'll see. I used to build, Sanchez, I used to build web pages using HTML. I don't know what that means, Sanchez. See, this is why I shouldn't have built a website. I literally built the website. It cost me like a ton of money too. Like it cost me, and Sanchez in web code, you may be, or code design, you may be able to like tell me if I'm crazy or not. So I built the website to give free printables. Like that was the purpose of the website, was so that I could make a video and then make a free printable that you guys could print and then fill out and like do stuff with, / information, free information. That was the purpose of the website. The website cost me like $600 a year to run. And I run ads on the website, but like I don't make much in ads because I'm not showing up in search. Not very helpful. But yeah, if you guys can let me know also if that's like me being a dum-dum in that sense for my web hosting stuff. $600 seems like a lot, but I don't know if it is or not. So, Miss Ladybug, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Miss Ladybug says, love your knowledge and expertise wrapped up in super fun and user-friendly personality, and you're in my cold zone. Yay. That's good. Okay, so I think this is so funny, you guys. I always get this comment, I love your personality. Like even on Nate's videos, they're like, oh, she's so fun. Like her personality, I love it. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means because I don't get that in like, well, I mean, that also could be because the people that know me don't think anything of it. They're like, whatever, this is Ashley. But you guys need to hang out with cooler people. If you think my personality is lit, you need to find new friends, I think. Prairie prepping and HTML have changed so much. I have no idea what any of that means. They're having a whole side conversation about websites. Actually dropping the big bucks on us to provide us with free info. Francis, honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. That's more so what it is. It's more so what it is. I just like dug the hole. I started with GoDaddy as web hosting. And I just dug the hole. I just kept digging until I couldn't see the light of day anymore. It's good. It's really good. But all joking aside, I do know you guys use it, so I'll never get rid of it. Because whenever I post something and I say reference the website, you guys will go to the website and I can actually see the web page views go up the day that I release a video. So it'll never go anywhere. $600 a month is what or $600 a year is what I'm going to spend on it, because you guys do use it. So that's always good. Always good. Okay, they're talking more. Yeah, see, and that's Miss Ladybug. That's what I was concerned about too, about the styrofoam, is the leaching, because I would assume it would break down, unless if there's a food safe version of styrofoam, which there may be. I'm not sure. $600 a year, yikes. Same with Sanchez. He says $600 is way too much. Okay, so that's good to know. That's good to know. I know nothing about websites, but I built my own using a really helpful YouTube guy. It only cost me $50 a year. Oh my God. Well, then. GoDaddy took me to the bank. Because I've been paying that for like 2 years now. I'll email you closer to September, October after the growing seasons and help you out. Okay, good. Please do. I won't have time, like you said, right now. But yeah, no, that's good. Though I don't like GoDaddy, they're low cost. Yeah, I don't, websites, man. How's a sensor project going? Good. It's going good. We're hoping, it's going to be end of July, beginning of August. Closer probably to end of July. that those guys are good to go. And then I'm going to set up a sensor at Nate's so I can monitor what his plants are doing from afar. Mostly because I don't trust him. He's not going to watch this, so I can say that all I want. But I'm going to put one in his pots so I can remotely check out what he's doing through the app. Mostly so that I only go there like once a week to check on the plants and like see what he's doing and make sure that what he's doing is right. So sometimes I worry like things can go a little awry even in 3-4 days. So that'll help me enormously there. Oh yeah, I guess that is true. Styrofoam doesn't break down in 1,000 years. There is mealybugs and superworms will eat styrofoam. Just a fun fact. And then you get the frass and you put that on the plants. Oh no, that's literally prairie prepping. No, that's literally what I'm gonna do. I'm going to literally text him and be like, yo, water your plants. He is such a bad waterer. He knows this. He actually, this last week when I went there, he changed it around. Either that or he watered everything before I got there because he knew I was going to pick on his watering. But he doesn't water. He's an underwaterer to the max. And for a houseplant person, like you can get away with that. When it comes to someone who is growing food, you cannot underwater. Like that is such a bad idea. But yeah, he is an underwaterer to the max. It's shocking. Can't wait for this sensor. Yeah, end of July. Oh, low watering. Peppers, like, don't mind drying out a little bit. And then anything without fruit will do better. So like leafy greens and stuff, but sometimes where you are, your issue is also heat. So you want to stay away from things like, for example, cabbage and leafy greens that aren't heat tolerant, things like that. But I would do, like I said, I would do like a tomato, pepper, that sort of thing. What is the sensor device? Is it a LoRa device I use? Hey, DIY. One's in the grow cabinet. KW, no, it's a, so what it is I teamed up with a group of engineers in Canada. It's all Canadian. And then Mohawk College, which is, from my understanding, is like a tech college. Now, I'm in Saskatchewan, so I've never seen what Mohawk College is, but my understanding is that it is a tech college that does some light scale manufacturing, that sort of thing. So it's kind of like 3 groups, me, the engineers, and then the other guys. And so what it is initially it was just like a regular plant sensor, like something you would see with like flora or whatever, where it senses moisture and light and humidity and that sort of thing. And then they brought me on to, help with it. And I gave them some tips and tricks and taught them some new things about plants that maybe sensor-wise would be valuable, in my opinion, are hugely valuable for people. And it just turned into basically now what will be like a soil pH tester, VPD detection, an adjustment suggestion calculator, GDU. It'll calculate your GDU for the people growing veggies. It'll tell you like when it's optimal to actually pick the tomato or pick whatever it is, fruit, vegetable wise. And yeah, it's like literally an all-in-one: light, humidity, soil moisture, pH, VPD calculator, GDU calculator, and it tells you the science behind what's underwatering, what's overwatering, what's bright and indirect, hours of light the plant needs based on like what growth stage you're in. So if you're growing cannabis or fruits and veggies, it's going to tell you to adjust your light cycles. But if you're just doing houseplants, it's going to tell you something else. It's very intelligent and intuitive. And then it also hooks you up with a plant expert, which is me. For right now, eventually the goal is to like obviously get horticulture, university students and stuff like that to get them a job that they can work on. So question, will the heat kill off beneficial bacteria planted in pots outside? Yeah, that's always been a concern for me. Potted plants, I always worry about the microbes overheating in the pots. I think it's very likely. Now, given things like fungi and stuff are pretty good at surviving nearly anything. Yeah, so Francis, it's looking like end of July for the sensor to be available. So, but guys, I think I'm gonna go. I got a ton of stuff to do. What do we got for time even? I think I overwater my plants. That's literally everyone's issue, so I wouldn't even stress about that. I won't even stress about that, Sanchez. Just lots of light and you should be good to go. But yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. Where can I buy it again? It's go to earth1.io. earth1.io and sign up for the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter, guys, because there is only a limited amount. We don't have a lot of them. We can only do so many in one run. And so we have a limited amount, and it's a beta too. Like the first one's a beta. So the first people that get it are the ones that are going to help us ultimately design it, right? So that's going to be the people who are going to tell us like what worked for them, what didn't work for them, what features they want to see, what features they don't want to see, what the interface looks like, what they don't want the interface to look like. So the first customers are going to help design like the final version of this as well as everything else. So if you want to jump on that and make sure that you're a part of that beta customer group, then you want to set up for the newsletter. And like just that one video I literally just did one video on it so far, and we got, I think, like 300 or 400 people sign up on the newsletter, and we only have literally 400 devices. So we're already technically going to be sold out if every single person who signed up for the newsletter ends up buying a sensor. So sign up for the newsletter and watch for it so you make sure you can get it. And I'll do a video the day that it is live and sellable. I'll release a video and let you guys know. And the other good thing is too, though, keep this in mind, is that the Gardening in Canada group, like us, we are the beta group. Like it's only being released to us. Like we're not gonna advertise this on like all these other networks and platforms and stuff. It's gonna be this group only that has access to it. So yeah. Okay, awesome. Thanks guys so much. Aw, your afternoon coffee break. I love that. Okay, I gotta uncoffee break myself and get to work. Talk to you guys next time. Have an awesome Saturday and Sunday going forward. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.